What's up, everybody? You're watching the Car Passion channel, and in today's video, we're gonna play Doctor. So what I've got here is a little homemade device designed for listening to the inside of your car's engine. Specifically, I'm going to be using these to listen for detonation. Now, you can make these yourself at home for probably 20 to 40 bucks. I'm not going to show you how to make them in this video, but if you want to know how to make them, head to my website, thecarpassionchannel.com/detcans, and I've got a write-up on exactly how I built these things. But before I go plug these into the car, let's talk about what detonation is. Now, detonation, depending on who you talk to, can go by several different names. Knock, pre-ignition, pinging, all that stuff pretty much means the same thing. It's the uncontrolled burning of fuel in your combustion chamber. So inside of a normal 4-cycle engine, you've got a piston, right? And it's coming up, and you got fuel air mixture inside the cylinder, and then at a certain point the spark plug goes off and ignites that mixture, and it pushes the piston back down, and that's what propels your car forwards and allows you to smoke Mustangs. But what knock is, what detonation is when the piston is on its way up and some other event will cause that fuel air mixture to go off early, and now you've got the crankshaft pushing the piston up, but the explosion from the fuel has already started going off. It's trying to push the piston back down, and that is knock. And if it's severe enough, you can destroy your engine in one pull. And you don't want to destroy your engine. It's not fun. There are several different things that can cause detonation. One thing is running too low of a fuel octane. And even though the Miata engines were designed for 87, when you start throwing boost and more heat into the engines, you want to step it up to the highest octane you have available, 91, 93, 94, whatever's in your area. The higher the octane, the harder it is to make that fuel detonate or ignite too early. And that's why you can make so much extra power on E85, because it's the equivalent of like 105 or 107 octane, something like that. It really resists detonation, so you can run way more boost and timing. Another thing that can cause knock is too much heat in the combustion chamber. If you're running a lot of boost and you have no intercooler, or you don't have a big enough intercooler, the air coming into the engine is going to be really hot, and that fuel air mixture is going to ignite too easy. Now, a higher compression engine is also generating more heat through pressure because it's compressing the air more after it enters the cylinders. So that's another thing. If you don't run a high enough octane and you've got too high compression, you're going to be getting knock like that. Or if you run, high compression and high boost, you need an even higher octane or less ignition advance, so that mixture is not going off too early. And that's another thing that causes knock, is too aggressive ignition advance. Basically, the optimal ignition advance is different depending on how much throttle you're using, how much boost is going through the engine, what RPM you're at. It changes all the time. A lot of people will stock Miatas, they advance their ignition a few degrees, and it can be worth a few horsepower, but you are kind of doing guesswork without a dyno or something that can listen for detonation. Now, sometimes you can hear detonation from the driver's seat. If you're at low RPM, low speed, you don't have a lot of wind noise, tire noise, engine noise, you can isolate that detonation by ear. But when it gets more noisy in the car, it's harder to hear. I'm gonna go plug these things into the engine and try to show you guys what knock sounds like, kind of what you're listening for, whether you're gonna do a little timing advance on your stock engine or you're gonna play with the spark map on your Megasquirt powered car. And like I said earlier in the video, ignition advance is no joke. You can do serious damage to your engine if you don't know what you're doing. So if you're not comfortable, it's not really something I recommend playing with, but I've been getting so many questions lately about knock and knock control. I figured I'd at least, throw a video up there. Please, guys, be safe, be smart out there. Just because I'm going to go ripping around my car playing with the timing doesn't mean everyone should just go and do it. Do your research before you mess with stuff like that. Alright, my disclaimer's over. I'm going to go play with these things. Down here in the depths, below the turbo, bolted onto my block, is the little receiver for my hose. And the best place for any sort of knock sensor is on the block somewhere, preferably in the middle, as close to the cylinders as you can get. My receiver thing is probably a little bit too low, but I'm going to try it anyways. I think I'll be able to still get some good sound from it. So our hose is hooked up down there, and then up here it's kind of zip tied in place so it doesn't move. And then this thing is so close to the downpipe, I'm going to wrap it with aluminum foil to protect it a little bit. Honestly, like, what's more ghetto looking, this or the bootleg boost leak test? Like, where's my channel really going right now? Alright, so I've modified my design a little bit so it's kind of easier to use while driving. I just got the hose coming into the one side, but I can still hear everything that's going on inside the bottom end of the motor, which is exactly what I wanted. So now I'm going to give you a demonstration on how I use this thing. I always like to do this on a fairly warm day with the engine at operating temperature and on an uphill, because I want to load the motor up as much as possible. And what I'm going to try to do here is put the headphones on the mic and you'll see what a normal pull sounds like. And then what I'm going to do is adjust my ignition table in the lower RPM. I'm actually going to induce some knock. Yeah, so I can show you guys what that sounds like and what you're listening for if you're trying to do this on your own. The bottom row here, the x-axis, is your RPM, and the y-axis over on this side is your manifold pressure. That's measured in kPa, and then the values all over the table is your ignition advance. Above 100 kPa, that means the car is starting to go into boost, and you can see the timing is far less advanced above that level. When the incoming air starts to get pressurized, you have to retard the ignition timing or else you will get detonation. Alright, hopefully this doesn't shake too much and you guys can really easily see this timing map. The little black floating dot is where the engine is actually at right now. I'm going to do a little pull in second gear from 1500 to 3000 at full throttle. Now I'm going to take those cells and I'm going to add a bunch of timing to it to purposely make it knock and show you what it sounds like. So I'll just kind of keep an eye on that map as I'm driving around, and if I hear that sound of detonation, I'll make the timing in that area of the map less aggressive. I strongly recommend doing this on a dyno or having someone else in the car helping you. It's not exactly the safest thing to do by yourself. And this knock that I'm demonstrating at low RPM is not nearly as harmful as the high load, high RPM knock that's much more difficult to hear while you're just sitting in the driver's seat, and that's where these headphones really come in handy. Then you don't even necessarily need Megasquirt to play with your ignition timing a little bit. I'm sure a lot of you have heard that, people with stock Miatas can advance their timing and get a little bit more power. Well, you can use a tool like this to make sure that you're staying safe. And there's a lot more to ignition tuning than just what I've showed in this video. I just want to give you a kind of a demonstration, show you this tool that I built and kind of show you how to use it. I've included a bunch of information in the link below, videos and articles that I've found helpful for learning more about ignition timing and ignition tuning and all that, so be sure to check that out if you're interested in it. I hope you guys learned something in this video. If you liked the content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave me a comment, let me know what you thought, and I will catch you guys in the next one. VVT build videos coming very soon. Peace out.
Back from the dead.
VVT build video. We got VVT build videos. VVT build video.